Hello, my name is Robin Saclay, and in this video, I will present my final project titled Cross-Cultural Negotiation Strategies with a focus on Spain and Finland. The purpose of this paper was to compare negotiation strategies and practices in these two very different cultures, explore the role of cultural intelligence, which I boiled down to just CQ in my paper, and understand how misunderstandings can affect these international business deals. The research question that guided my work was this: how do negotiation practices and strategies differ between Spain and Finland, and in what ways can cultural intelligence reduce misunderstandings to improve international negotiation outcomes? To answer this, I first analyzed the different cultural characteristics using Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory. Spain, according to Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory, ranks high on uncertainty avoidance and power distance, which means that Spanish professionals prefer structured negotiations with clear rules and are comfortable with hierarchical authority, meaning that a Spanish person loves structure, and if their boss tells them something, they are fine with it. They don't question it. They're like, okay, cool, this is what my boss wants. We're doing it this way. Uh, at the same time, Spaniards favor a high context communication, meaning that they rely heavily on non-verbal cues, just like with their hands, indirect speech, and as I just showed you, a lot of emotional expressiveness. If someone is sad, they show it really much. If someone is happy, they're flailing around with their arms, as an example. In For the Spanish, relationships are key. Business often starts after trust and uh, mutual support has been developed. Meetings are usually conversational and may deviate from the agenda as building the relationship takes priority over speed and efficiency, meaning that the different conversations can take the conversation from the business perspective, all of a sudden talking about how someone's mother is doing, but still keeping it somehow in a formal manner. Finland, then, by contrast, ranks lower on the power distance scale and on uncertainty avoidance scale. Finnish culture is a lot more individualistic, and Finnish professionals value directness, honesty, and clarity in their communication in business formal settings. Uh, as well as sometimes even as a Finn myself, just in normal conversations as well. We're direct, we're very honest, and we are very clear, in other words, with what we say. So we use low context communication, meaning messages are expressed clearly, as I just told you, in words rather than gestures or tone. So I'm not going to do all of this sort of stuff, as you would most likely notice in this video. Uh, Silence is also part of communication in Finland. It is seen as a sign of reflection, not discomfort. Finnish business culture is very punctual and data driven. Meetings follow a strict schedule, and once a decision has been made, implementation is expected to happen very quickly and efficiently. This contrast creates many misunderstandings in international negotiations. For example, a Spanish negotiator might perceive Finnish directness as rude, while a Finnish counterpart might interpret a Spaniard's warmth and expressiveness as unprofessional. Time management is another area of conflict. Spaniards are incredibly flexible with deadlines and view them as guidelines more often than not, whereas Finns take deadlines very seriously. These differences, if not managed properly, can lead to lost deals, eroded trust, and a long-term damage to the different relationships between Finnish and Spanish firms. One real life example from the paper, which I used, was a case of four Finnish service companies attempting to expand into the Spanish market. At first, they used a direct export strategy, but this failed to build the trust necessary for success in Spain. Only after opening local subsidiaries in Spain uh, allowed them to build a long term relationship and adapt to the Spanish norms uh, did they see the success. So only after they tried to understand the culture of Spain did they finally succeed. Another case involved a joint venture between a Finnish and Spanish company. The partnership suffered due to different expectations in communication and decision making. But after both sides participated in a cross-cultural training course, they were able to realign their goals and build a more effective partnership. This is where the role of cultural intelligence comes in, which is basically just the ability to work effectively across different cultures. It consists of four components. The first one is CQ drive, meaning your motivation to learn about other cultures. The second one is CQ knowledge, which stands for your understanding of how cultures differ. The third one is CQ strategy. It is how you plan for intercultural interactions. And the fourth one is CQ action. It is how you adapt your behavior in a real time situation. In both the Spanish and Finnish cultures, CQ enables negotiators to recognize cultural signals and adapt to them accordingly. A culturally intelligent negotiator would need to understand that silence from Finn is thoughtful, meaning that they think about something very deeply and isn't negative, and that storytelling or informal conversation from a Spaniard is part of their trust building process. These small but crucial adjustments could very well prevent misunderstandings and in some cases even show respect to a different culture, which is essential for a long-term success in international business relations. Misunderstandings, if not addressed, could lead to serious consequences like frustration, delays, failed deals, and in some cases, even a damaged reputation. However, many of these issues are preventable through a few uh, culturally intelligent strategies. Where one of these is research the other culture before the meeting. The second one is to be clear and concise, but also be emotionally aware. The third one could be that people and companies use interpreters or cultural advocates when needed. So someone that knows about the other culture, but the person works for you to make sure that you're not accidentally uh, disrespecting or showing some sort of sign to the other party that would be interpreted as negative from that other party. And most importantly, the last one is that a lot of these companies, firms should really invest in cross-cultural training for these cross-cultural teams and negotiators. These findings have led me to several recommendations. First, as I said, organizations should prioritize cultural training for all employees involved in international negotiations. Second, the negotiation plan should be tailored to the cultural context. And for example, when negotiating with Spain, you should allow time for informal talk and relationship building. With Finland, you should respect agendas and deadlines and rely on the facts more than your emotions when negotiating with them. Finally, the joint venture should include, if you do a joint venture, should include like cultural liaison officers, meaning that people who understand both cultures, like the advocates I just talked about, someone who understands both cultures and can bridge the communication gap in real time. To conclude, cultural differences between Spain and Finland show how easily negotiations can go wrong if cultural expectations are not understood. But with strong cultural intelligence, these same differences can become strengths. Rather than causing conflict, they can lead to better deals, richer relationships, and stronger international cooperation. Thank you for listening, and I hope this has given you useful insights into the world of cross cultural negotiations.